Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint by Sing Shong. Chapter 426. Our Greatest Ally. Part 4. Only I know the end of the journey to the west? Where have I heard of that introduction before? I decided to enter and confirm the situation of this chamber first. Player 8 Nim has entered the 6731st Fable Chamber's waiting area. Thankfully, it seemed that their fable hadn't started yet. But then again, they shouldn't be able to start without the role for Sun Wukong filled up, so there was that, too. After I entered the chamber, the surroundings changed and a large round desk suddenly materialized. Square chat windows were floating above the desk's chairs, rather than actual people. They signified the participants playing the other roles. Player 1 has currently selected the role of Zhu Beiji. Player 2 has currently selected the role of Sha Wujing. Player 6 has currently selected the role of Tang Sanzang's White Horse. The faces of the players were all obscured by question marks. It seemed that this was done in order to protect the personal information of the actual players. Okay, but never mind that for now. There were so many players here, yet no one had selected the role of Sun Wukong yet? Player 8, hello, everyone. Maybe they had all logged off or something, because no one bothered to write a message in the chat room even after I made an appearance. But then... Scenario Master, hi? Scenario Master, which role you wanna? I quickly inputted my reply in the chat room in the middle. Player 8, is the role for Sun Wukong still vacant? Scenario Master, yes, vacant. Player 8, that's so strange. Scenario Master, had someone we want, but got delayed. Wanna do Sun Wukong? This guy, he seems to have a habit of not typing proper sentences. Just as I was getting worried about if it'd be okay to have someone like this guy as the scenario's master, a message popped up with a suspiciously good timing as if its sender had read my mind. Scenario Master, me know that genre inside out. No worries, bout scenario, qual. Yup, it was just so hard to trust anyone with that type of grammar. Still, I decided to test a couple of things out anyway. Player 8, I'd like ask you about the chamber's title. That, I'd become the retired SSSSS grade Sun Wukong. Scenario Master, me responsible. Player 8, why are there 5S letters? Scenario Master, need that many to attract aggro. Maybe he does know something after all? It got on my nerves a bit that he didn't bother to use any polite speech, though. I continued on with my questioning. Player 8, Sun Wukong really is the protagonist, yes? Scenario Master, yup. Player 8, wouldn't the audience feel fed up with leaving the original work's MC as is? I thought it was a trend for the side characters or extras to become protagonist lately. I thought I had accurately picked on his weak spot, but the master's response was surprisingly calm. Scenario Master, oh, looks like you did some market research. Player 8, it was a mere simple browse through. Scenario Master, true about Nim's words regarding extra-turned hero stories doing good business. But, Sun Wukong has to be MC if we want to be numero uno. Think from POV of a judge. Player 8, Scenario Master, important bit not who's MC and whatnot, but how much unfamiliar character he is. And too many extra-turned hero stories out there. Would you look at this guy? At a glance, he might seem to be yapping on whatever came up into his mind, but well, what he said just now was not wrong. More often than not, the ones to take the top spot at times like this would be stories featuring the traditional heroes. For instance, Fei Hu's The Real Journey to the West featured Sun Wukong as its main protagonist. Player 8, is that why you went with retired Sun Wukong? Scenario Master, yes. Player 8, what will the retired Sun Wukong be doing? Scenario Master, nothing. Player 8, huh? Scenario Master, it's a spoiler, so no talking. So, you in or not? I was in a dilemma. Scenario Master, if you're not, hurry and leave. We don't have much time. No answer in next 5 seconds. and I eject you. I was kind of curious about how would a retired Sun Wukong work as a protagonist, too. The fourth Fable Chamber list will close in 5 minutes. I'd be cutting it too fine if I were to search for another chamber now. Damn it, I don't have a choice here. Regardless of what kind of scenario it was, as long as I do my best, it'd be fine, right? Player 8, I'm in. Scenario Master, Then my turn to ask questions. Player 8, regarding? Scenario Master wishes to confirm your details. Please select the information you wish to reveal. He wants to view my information? Player 8, is it really necessary? Scenario Master, just want to know your name. My name, was it? I decided to reveal some of my info. Player 8 Nim is a constellation dot. Player 8 Nim's modifier is the Watcher of Light and Darkness. The applicable information is made available only to the Scenario Master dot. The Scenario Master didn't respond for a while. He must have been shocked by what he saw. Scenario Master, You were a constellation Nim? But, why here in a low-rent chamber? I replied quickly. Player 8, I may come across that way, but I know how to fight a bit. I dearly wish to become the retired Sun Wukong. Scenario Master, something smells fishy, though? Player 8, the real fun is in raising an unpopular fable from ground up, wouldn't you agree? Scenario Master, by the way, what's up with the dumpling? Dumpling? You're currently accompanied by your pet Murim Dumpling. Damn it, I forgot that this guy was here with me. Scenario Master, but we ain't got no roles for pets, though? Player 8, it's just a dumpling. It's not even strictly a pet per se. Scenario Master, it's a bit awkward, innit? Your opinions, please? Surprisingly enough, the Scenario Master actually went and asked for the opinions of other players. Player 1 Nim says that it's fine if it's a Murim Dumpling. Player 4 Nim says that Master should do whatever takes their fancy. Player 3 Nim says that I want to play this game right now. Thankfully, other players didn't object. Player 8, thank you. Scenario Master, go. A short while later, the countdown began. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fable Chamber, I become the retired SSSSS grade Sun Wukong, has begun its storytelling. This Fable Chamber's plot will follow the one set out by the Scenario Master. The main plotline of the Fable Chamber can be interfered with by the judges or the audience. The journey to the West remake will commence. Bright light dyed my vision ash gray next. I've become the retired SSSSS grade Sun Wukong. Letters appeared in a stylish manner from the darkness. And so, I had become this story's main character, Sun Wukong, and would participate in this play from now on. Honestly speaking, my heart was palpitating just a bit. To think, I'd really become the protagonist of an actual story. Kim Dokja Kunting Chi Ken's ALRED. Along with the fourth wall's voice entering my head, messages floated up before my eyes. Prologue is starting. Prologue will be told through a flashback sequence. During the applicable section, players can only speak the assigned dialogue. Scenario Master's narration is now commencing. Finally, a voice came from beyond the darkness next. At the end of the lengthy travel alongside Sanzang's company, Sun Wukong had eventually arrived in the western regions and succeeded in obtaining the sacred Buddhist texts. Oh, so it's begun. The scene actually changed as well, and before I even realized it, my body had morphed to that of Sun Wukong's. Folks that could be my companions were around me, but maybe because this was a flashback sequence, their faces were blurred out. And my lips began moving all on their own. Finally, retirement, is it? It sure was a long itinerary. At the same time, Sun Wukong's memories fleeted past my eyes. Getting chased away by Tang Sanzang, getting stabbed in the back by Zhu Beiji, and even abandoned by Sha Wujing. Memories of dragging around a ragtag bunch of utterly useless morons as his companions, fighting against countless Yogo creatures until I became a bloody mess. Now that I saw those things, it did seem somewhat saddening and bitter. So, this was how the journey to the west looked like from Sun Wukong's perspective, then. But it was then when I heard a strange voice. Are you planning to end it like this? I looked down to find the scared text suddenly talking to me. Are you really satisfied by this sort of a story? I was somewhat impressed by this. So, our story's plot would start in this manner, now was it? Words continued to rise above the sacred Buddhist texts. Do you not resent the unfairness of it? You've experienced expulsion by Sanzang because of illogical reasons and had to suffer oppression many times over. Was that all? You've been tortured by the constrictive headband because of crimes you were not guilty of. Nothing more than the reason of walking on the path of Buddhism, you had to protect Tang Sanzang and stick to a grueling itinerary, even though you'd have arrived in your destination in the blink of an eye by riding on your somersault cloud. For sure, the journey to the west did have cruel aspects when it came to treating Sun Wukong. And the result of such an arduous journey is for you to ascend to paradise? Are you not truly incensed by this conclusion? Now that I heard it, this did sound like a great injustice somehow. You can restart from the beginning. Restart from the beginning? You can start this journey from the beginning once more. It was around then when I got this ominous chill creep down my backside. God damn it, this was a regression story? My lips began moving all on their own again. What the hell? I got here after going through so much rubbish, yet you want me to go through that crap again from the beginning? No, you won't suffer this time. What? Exploit your comrades to the fullest, and become an existence that does not save anyone. Indeed, you shall become a demon king that only lives for himself. Right then, blinding rays of light exploded out from the sacred texts. Flashback sequence has concluded. The play will begin in earnest. It seemed that the story up until here was all a part of the prologue, which meant that the real episode would start from now. As if it was waiting for this moment, the words Episode 1 floated up to the view. And I grandly freaked out next. Episode 1. The Demon King of Salvation. Wah. As if it had read my mind, the narration started again. It was not a well-known tale, but once upon a time, Sun Wukong used to be called the Demon King of Salvation. I wondered what kind of dog's hit crap this was, but for the time being, decided to hear it out till the end. This small stone monkey had a nasty habit of sacrificing himself to save other people, and many of those who received his unwanted rescue attempts ended up with psychological scars. Gods and Buddhas of the heavens all criticized him for it, yet that dumb rock for brains continued to throw his life away to save other people over and over again. And no, hang on a minute here. The heaven's great Jade Emperor and Buddha felt that they could no longer accept such actions from Sun Wukong anymore and imprisoned the Monkey King inside the stone crate under the Marble Mountain. And our story starts from there. Judge, King of Stone Monkeys, likes this particular backstory. Portion of judges have awarded points for the plot that mirrors the current trend. 2 points have been awarded. My attention was drawn to the mirroring the current trend message. So could this be the reason? First episode has begun. Unrestricted speech section has begun. Do your best to create an interesting and enjoyable fable by acting according to your role. I shuddered greatly and regained my wits. Chills crept up from various parts of my body, and my back hurt like crazy as well. I heard the noises of pitch-black soil fall around me. My current situation was that only my head was peeking out from beneath the mountain. Currently, you're sealed under the 5 Elements mountain. Well, it seemed that I was currently being squashed flat by the 5 Elements mountain. Audiences are curious about what your reaction will be. Scenario Master is urging you to say something fitting your role. This was the very first scene after the MC had just finished regressing. Since I saw this situation appearing frequently in genre novels, I figured that I'd be rather familiar with what to say here, but after finding myself in those characters' shoes, I couldn't even imagine what to say anymore. Still, I decided to say something regardless. Where am I? Wasn't I returning with the sacred text just now? Obviously, no normal, sane-minded person would be talking to himself like this. Five Elements Mountain? Holy cow, did I really regress? So, I couldn't help but get shocked at myself, capable of muttering out such lines with ease. Audiences now understand your current situation. Scenario Master is nodding their head in approval of your instincts for dialogue. Scenario Master has acknowledged you. God damn it. I wanted to hide in a hole so bad right now. Portion of the audience is waiting in anticipation for the next scene. I recalled the journey to the West's plot points. According to the original, Sun Wukong was supposed to wait for 500 years below the Five-Element Mountain. And so, 5 minutes passed by, then 10 after that. There's no way, right? Sun Wukong's ears perked up after hearing noisy voices coming from afar. I breathed a sigh of relief. Now according to the original, the first person Sun Wukong met was Tang Sanzang. As he looked at the familiar people approaching him, Sun Wukong began reminiscing about the ancient past. 2 children were walking closer to my location. 2 kids that wore cute-looking Buddhist robes and sporting toy-like crowns on their heads. The memories of that day, when he first met Tang Sanzang. Sun Wukong was lost within the rose-tinted reminiscence. Chills slowly crept down my back now. That faintest sense of déjà vu I felt earlier was now gradually becoming reality. The fourth wall, buzzing noisily, then asked me. Why you re-alid ow? I couldn't answer back. That suspicion I had when I saw those 5S letters, even though I believed it couldn't be possible, a part of my heart still hoped against hope. I gritted my teeth and did my best to hold on to my consciousness trying to slip away. He's over there. I think it's that Ajusi. Let me go ask him. They were perhaps the world's smallest pair of Sanzang. Gilyong grabbed my head to lift it up and asked me next. You bastard, are you the demon king of salvation, Sun Wukong? Chapter 427. Our Greatest Ally. Part 5. Not knowing whether to laugh or cry, all I could do was to look at the kids and reply. I am. And then, I heard the warning message next. Warning. You have come in contact with some of Kim Dokja Company's members. Chaos residing somewhere deep inside you have begun wiggling. Asterisk. Judge, King of Stone Monkeys, has revealed his displeasure. The contest this time doesn't have anything interesting to watch. A young monkey covered entirely in a coat of rather beautiful golden fur roughly scratched his mane and, while looking at the screens displayed on holographic panels, yawned over and over again. Another monkey wearing a cowboy getup watched that from the sidelines before making a retort. Judge, manager of Heaven's Stables, is chastising the King of Stone Monkeys. Maihawang, handsome monkey king, you truly are an impatient one. If you took your time perusing, then you'd have found 1 or 2 interesting stories by now. HNG, Baimoen, keeper of heavenly horses, so was it your lofty patience that allowed you to clean up horse shit for over 2 weeks straight? I'd like to talk about only the refined matters in this place, if we could. I can already tell what you're going to do with my eyes closed. I mean, you'll just slap high scores to any story that doesn't feature stables in it, anyway. But, don't you also lose your mind in excitement whenever a story features mountain of flowers and fruit? Great sage. What do you think? Have you found something interesting to watch yet? That question was directed to a certain pure blonde-haired man yawning loudly with his chin supported by the Rui Bang. He lazily opened his lips. This year doesn't seem to have anything fresh, that's for sure. Thought so. We had quite a few people running around with wild imaginations in the past, hadn't we? Like, how we were portrayed as members of a battle-maniac species that grew stronger by overcoming deadly hurdles. Yeah. That was really fun back in the day. But I didn't like the way they portrayed us as humans. Baimoen's words elicited a smirk from the great sage. Oi, looky here. You guys might be monkeys, but I'm almost human, you know? But you changed only because of that fable's influence, didn't you? Maihawang, Baimoen, and the great sage. They were different fable bodies of the one that enjoyed the true name of Sun Wukong. At first, they were all one being, but after each of the fables developed separately, the various personalities split apart from one another as well. This kid, Faye, whose rate of growth is no joke. At this rate, we might have ourselves a brand new Sun Wukong. Yeah, sure. Something that hasn't happened in the last few thousand years will suddenly happen now. Sure thing. 3 separate Sun Wukongs had gathered inside this large judge's office to take a gander at the various fables of the Journey to the West remake being played out on the holographic panels. Some of them were boring, while a few seemed to be promising enough. They even pressed the like button on a couple of unfamiliar but interesting ones, too. They also didn't forget to assign scores as the 3 of them constantly bickered among themselves. Mai Haowang asked. Hey, great sage. I forgot to ask you. What happened to those guys the last time? Which guys? You know, back when you asked us for help, so Baimoen and I lent you our powers. Ah, you mean the Great War of Saints and Demons? It worked out alright. But their representative went missing. That prompted a retort from Baimoen. Are you talking about that fool whom you kept chasing after, but never chose you as his sponsor? Hey, I never chased him around, got that? I only responded once or twice at his ardent pleas, that's all. Oh, but for that once or twice, I remember you willingly sacrificing some of your scant hair, though? Shut up. The great sage roughly dug his ear with the Rui Bang and changed the topic. By the way, why hasn't Dishan Shengfo, victorious fighting Buddha, arrived yet? All the Sun Wukongs have gathered in one place, so how come he's missing from this occasion? You know that nerd's always late. What about Beiji and Wujing? They went to speak to the Heavenly Palace people. That Jade Emperor dude, is he thinking of butting in during the judging again? As long as our opinions don't clash, it doesn't matter if that side wishes to interfere. But, our opinions have never matched before, so there's our problem. As if they were waiting for this very moment, the door to the judge's office was pushed open, and Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing made their entrance. Excuse me, Hyung Nims. The higher-ups say that it's about time we announce this year's best candidates. Shut it. Can't you see we're still busy? Both Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing flinched from Mai Haowang's threatening voice and took hurried steps back. The great sage asked them. By the way, who's the lady behind you? Ah, apologies for the late introduction. She's this year's new judge. I heard that she's also Sakyamuni's successor. Sakyamuni had a successor? Someone entered the office in a calm, composed gait. However, the moment the great sage saw the woman wearing a fine, elegant Buddhist robe and a slender crown, his eyes trembled from shock. Baimoen sensed that and asked him. Someone you know? The great sage didn't reply and simply stared at her face for a while. The woman didn't reciprocate that gaze, instead choosing to cross the table and head towards the panel displaying the fables. Baimoen used his chin to point and speak. This is actually good news. It might not be a bad idea to hear the newbie's opinion. Hey, Miss Sakyamuni's successor, which fable takes your fancy? The woman's robe, busy swaying about, came to a stop in a certain spot. Sakyamuni's successor stared at a certain story with a pair of still eyes. Her hand slowly reached out and touched the display, causing ripples to spread out like the emotions of longing itself. I seem to like this fable the most. Asterisk. Youknew alri adi kim dokja. The fourth wall was right. In a way, you could say that I knew something like this would happen. I kind of suspected that the folks in this fable chamber might be the Kim Dokja Company's members. The agreement with the Weni King is in danger. And also, I thought that it'd give rise to such a result, too. Even then, I couldn't not make this choice. You've been warned not to get in contact with them. 999, sitting on my shoulder, whispered to me. Just by meeting the kids, a change was already taking place within my incarnation body. The transformation to the outer god is accelerating due to the risk to the agreement condition. I haven't gone against the agreement itself. Technically speaking, the content of the deal was to never reveal my identity to Kim Dokja Company, wasn't it? The moment they find out, everything will be over. I know that already, so stop worrying. Outer God transformation progress percentage, 3%. Most likely, I'd end up as an outer god like the secretive plotter when that percentage maxes out. I was thinking that honestly, it shouldn't matter as long as I fulfill our agreement before that. For now, I was happy to see the kids walking in front of me in such great harmony. A small number of audience members complained that Sanzang can't be two people. While listening to the messages streaming in, I continued to walk behind the kids leading in the front. I heard that children grow remarkably fast every day. That statement really hit home, after realizing that they indeed had grown so much taller already. Now that I thought about it, it sure had been a while since I spent some time with them like this. I had no idea what either Lee Gilyong or Shin Yusung were thinking about most of the time. It was what the scenario master had said. I saved them on my whim, and abandoned them behind with no thoughts of taking any responsibility. Just like how it was like for me in the past, these two kids had been left alone and neglected by me. Oh, I, Demon King of Salvation. Yes? So, this was more or less the punishment that I deserve. Shin Yusung, watching on from the side, spoke up. You shouldn't be so rude to someone you don't know. But, Suyong Nuna said I should act like this, you know? Even then, you should still stick to basic etiquette. As expected of my incarnation. She studied me with pitying eyes, before whispering to Lee Gilyong via nebula chat. Of course, since I was also a member of the same nebula, I could hear her words just fine. This way, he'll trust us more, you dummy. What will you do if he decides to wreak havoc later? I felt goosebumps break out on my skin. You're actually scared of him? Look at his current state, will ya? For sure, I didn't buy the Great Sage, Heaven's Equal Avatar set, sold by Emperor, so my current attire consisted of nothing more than the 500-year-old standard ragged clothing. Shin Yusung patted the dirt away on my clothes and politely greeted me. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Constellation Nim. We'll be in your care. I'll be in yours as well. Also. How should I call you both? Lee Gilyong replied as if he was waiting for that. I'm the monk Shin. And she's the monk Zong. Call us that from now on. His voice was full of mischievousness as if he was playing a game. So, then. Lee Gilyong was the monk Shin, while Shin Yusung was the monk Zong, was it? To think, they'd split the name of the monk Xuanzong and give it to the kids. It was indeed a rather adorable idea. A portion of audience members think that the two monks are quite adorable. Portion of judges find the setting of two monks interesting. 4 points have been acquired. Lee Gilyong, still drunk on all these new settings, continued to yap about himself. Meanwhile, Shin Yusung whispered in my ear. I'm sure you're a little bit confused by all these strange setups, yes? I'm really sorry. Our scenario master is a bit of an eccentric, so... No, it's fine. I could guess who the scenario master was already. Well, there could ever be only one person capable of coming up with such an out-there story in Kim Dokja Company, after all. Still, you don't have to worry about anything. We'll definitely look after you well. All you have to do is to ride the bus well and just quietly follow us. Tears almost broke out from my eyes after being subjected to all this friendly treatment. It would have hardly been enough for me to console the kids first, yet they were worried about me, instead? What a shameful thing this was. At that moment, Sun Wukong swore to protect Sanzang in this life, as well. That's right. I'd definitely protect these kids. I might not have been able to do my role properly in the past, but at least, from now on I... Kugagugagagu. Noises of explosions came from somewhere. I reflexively scanned my vicinity. Koo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It did sound like explosions, sure, but something also felt a bit off about them. Something must have exploded, but why did it sound as if the noise was made by someone's mouth? Shin Yusung hurriedly approached my side and whispered again. Please don't panic. We're simply mirroring the original setting. Pardon? I heard that in the original story, all onomatopoeia were written in between quotation marks. A portion of the judges are impressed by the unexpected mirroring of the original work. 10 additional points have been acquired. What the hell? I thought such a thing was a mistake solely reserved to mass-market fantasy genre novels. I wasn't even given enough time to get flustered by the unexpected level of observation by the scenario master on the original work. The kids pushed me behind them and took large steps forward. Having a look again, I realized that the so-called explosion noises seemed to have originated from a large canyon in front of us. Sun Wukong stared deeply at the Shipan Mountains Ingcho Stream Canyon. Since this was his second stab at life, he knew what would pop out from that canyon. If my memory was right, then the second being the group encountered in the journey to the west was the third son of the Dragon King of West Sea, Jade Dragon. Right, it's him. And he would become. He was the existence that would be reborn as Tang Sanzang's white dragon horse. Well, since the narration took care of everything, I didn't have much else to say here. I stepped forward and spoke up. Both of you, please hide somewhere. I shall handle this. If my memory was working fine, then one of the players took on the role of the Tang Sanzang's white dragon horse. I was pretty sure that he was the one behind the current event. Seeing that the kids were participating in this fable chamber, the rest of the players should also be from Kim Dokja Company, but if someone with ill intention had somehow butted in here. We told you, you just stay on the bus. A small but pretty darn strong hand grabbed my shoulder. I looked back to find Shin Yusung forming a rather scary smile. A guy who can't even afford proper clothes wants to show off. Step back. Yi Gilyong cracked his knuckles and took a step forward, as well. I tried to urgently chase after the kids, but they had already ran ahead to the canyon and started fighting a blue-hued dragon that flew out from there. Kukwakwakwakwa. Yi Gilyong shouted out the onomatopoeia and rushed forward, and the blue dragon jumping out from the canyon also roared out in response. I immediately recognized who that dragon was. It's the Chimera Dragon? Kids fought with the blue dragon as if they were having a dance-off in the air, and through taming, subjugated the creature in no time at all. Audience members are impressed by the kid Sanzang's martial prowess. A small number of audience members are lodging a protest, complaining that Sanzangs are too powerful. A portion of judges are surprised by this unexpected turn of events. And a short while later, Player 6, Nim, has joined the group. The Chimera Dragon was transformed into Xuanzang's white horse, and was dragged over here by the two children. While trying to understand this situation, which was resolved without me needing to do anything, I recalled the conversation I had with the scenario master earlier. What will the retired Sun Wukong be doing? Nothing. Only now did I understand just a little bit. This story seemed to be created for this from the word go. And right in the next instant, a message from a familiar constellation landed in my ear. Judge, prisoner of the Golden Headband, finds the current fable's plot quite interesting. 10 additional points have been acquired. Asterisk. A day passed by like that, then another day went by. I was gradually waking up to the identity of this fable chamber. It's a grasshopper. Eat. Demon King of Salvation Nim. Do your legs hurt? This fable is one for Sun Wukong's benefit, duh. Sun Wukong was really comfortable. This would be my first time to be all relaxed and leisurely ever since the scenarios began. My brain had almost seized up after it got submerged in the sea of comfort for too long. New fable is germinating in you. Fable, Sneezing Without Hands, has begun its storytelling. I could just about make a guess as to why Han Suyang came up with a scenario like this one. Judge, prisoner of the Golden Headband, likes this plot development very much. The Journey to the West was a story built around Sun Wukong's sacrifice. Even the later variations had similar themes, too. So, what would happen if a fable specifically for Sun Wukong made its appearance? Judge, prisoner of the Golden Headband, is envious of you. Judge, manager of Heaven's stables, is envious of you. Score, 312. It seemed that Han Suyang's claim of being a popular author was true. The fable's total votes had already surpassed 300 and we were enjoying smooth sailing so far. And well, such a plot wasn't necessarily bad for my companions either. Nominally, the MC of the story was Sun Wukong, but as every battle was handled by my companions instead, all the shares of the fable at the end of the scenario would naturally belong to Kim Dokja Company alone. What a well-thought-out scheme this was: get a nice score tally, and also ensure you'd walk away with fable shares, too. Arg, I want to play some games on my phone. But you played so much before coming here. Even though the kids adorably bickered with each other, they didn't forget to feed me, helped me fall asleep, and hell, even groomed the fur on my head, too. Yi Gilyong asked me with a pout. So, what do you do originally? It's bad manners to ask about his private life, you dummy. Shin Yusung, pulling out premature gray hair on my head, tackled the boy immediately. I was slightly worried whether such a meta conversation was allowed or not, but for the time being, I decided to answer him. I thought about it and realized that I hadn't had a chat like this with the kids up until now. I just enjoy reading novels. Novels? Oh, I like reading them, too. Yi Gilyong liked reading novels? Really? That was an unexpected piece of info. He was now really amped up as he continued on. Can I recommend you a novel? He dared to make a recommendation to me, a veteran of over 10 years in reading genre novels? Fine, let's hear him, then. It's SSSSS Great Infinite Regressor. It's a super-duper awesome novel, so make sure to read it later, okay? Before I noticed it, my second ego jumped out to the fore. But, as I understand, that novel was a resounding failure. Failure? I heard it was really popular, though? I guess you don't have a discerning eye. Han Suyang, that moron. Did she boast her novel to these young, gullible kids? Shin Yusung, listening on, quickly joined in, as well. I also really like reading novels. Oh, really? May I ask what kind of novels? I kind of was looking forward to her answer. Indeed, if it was Yusung Yi. Yes, you may. Raymond Carver, Murakami Haruki. Now that was a lineup of authors I had heard of before. I was able to figure out who was in charge of the children's education during my absence. Yusung SSI. She should have reincarnated safely by now. Shin Yusung looked at the dumpling on my shoulder and asked me a question. By the way, you must really like Muram dumplings? Yes, I do. And Ajusi, I know, also really likes them, too. I knew well who she was talking about there. Yi Gilyong rubbed his stomach and muttered to himself. I wish I could eat some dumplings right about now. I thought I could sense the Muram dumpling on my shoulder suddenly flinch a little. Indeed, it had been way too long since I had a proper meal. But suddenly, the aroma of dumplings began wafting out from somewhere. The majority of events taking place within the journey to the west all began with suddenly, just like this. We exchanged glances and tracked down the origin of that fantastic smell. And so, how long did we walk on the mountain trail? A huge factory now stood before us. Can a thing like that even exist in this era? Just as I began wondering if Han Suyang's version of the journey was set in the steampunk universe, several humanoids began running outside the factory and headed this way. You! Everyone, run away! However, the escapees were caught by some kind of an invisible force and were dragged back to the factory. No. Wondering what on earth was going on here, we quickly sneaked our way inside the factory. Not too long afterwards, we got to witness the spectacle of thousands of slaves busy kneading and manufacturing something while sticking very close to the moving conveyor belts. Could that be? The dumpling, 999, on my shoulder whispered. They are making Muram dumplings. Thousands upon thousands of Muram dumplings were being carried away by the conveyor belts to a destination unknown. I stared at the unending river of dumplings and began wondering about the person we were about to meet this time. There was only one creature in the whole of the journey to the west that lusted after food this badly. As if he was waiting for us, a man suddenly began speaking to us.